YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Canadian Retro. I've got another pickups video for you here, but I do want to also address something that's going to be changing in the way that I go about doing my collecting. Now, collecting all this stuff, surprisingly, has not really put me into any amount of debt. It just hasn't really allowed me to pay off some debt that I previously had. So I have always kept up with my payments. I'm not a deadbeat as far as that goes. It's just I'd like to be able to take some of the income that I'm getting and kind of pay off a lot of that debt that I'm working on. So things around here are changing a little bit. You may not see that necessarily, but essentially I've set a goal for myself whereby I'm not going to be spending any of my personal money on these things. All the money that I spend on video games from this point on is going to be from selling. That'll give me cash to which I can buy new things, and that's basically how it's going to roll. I'm going to have my own separate account just for video game stuff. It's not going to come out of my personal finances, and that's really a goal that I'm setting for myself. It's been kind of a nightmare selling stuff. Basically, it's sort of difficult. The deals that have gone through are great, but ones that it just seems that things always fall apart on the other end. I have no problem buying stuff off of Kijiji or things like that, or Craigslist, but it's just selling stuff on there is a complete and total nightmare. So I'm still going to try to do that and everything, but I do have a show coming up that I will be selling things at as well, and that's going to be a big part, I think, of funding my collection a little bit here in the future, as far as getting some cash coming in for that account for buying video games. So that all being said, that's sort of the new format I'm going with. It's really my advice to you that you should probably try to do the same thing. Obviously you got to start off and put a little bit of your own personal cash into it, but once you get a decent collection, which I think I'm pretty much sitting on right now, all the doubles and things like that you end up getting from lots and whatnot really needs to be sold off to fund your collection, and you should really be trying to fund your collection just based on those doubles and things. That's my advice to you. I can't really speak any more about that, so I'll get on to the pickup videos here. First game I want to show you here is something that I picked up from a Goodwill. A pretty interesting title. It's Firefighter FD18 for the PlayStation 2. This is probably going to be either trade fodder or something I'm going to sell, just because I'm not really that interested in the title, but it is complete, and this one here is actually in pretty decent shape. It's pretty nice shape actually. I just need to clean it up a little bit. It's kind of dusty, but otherwise there's a few minor scuffs on it, nothing major, no deep scratches or anything. So pretty cool find, I think, for $3. The reason why I'm not going to hold on to this is just I'm not really into firefighter stuff. I know I'll probably never play this, but someone else might be interested in it, and I know there's probably not a whole lot of firefighter related games out there. You can see from the screens on the back, basically it's like a first person or over the shoulder third person kind of firefighting game. So kind of interesting, different take on these kind of games, because you don't really see a game like this necessarily all the time. So for $3 I thought I would pick that guy up. I found something pretty interesting as well. It's just this baggie here of stuff, and speaking like what I was speaking about before, selling stuff on eBay, this is something that I'm planning on doing with the items in this bag. The first thing is something that I'm definitely not holding on to, which is two pairs actually, I didn't even realize that. 2 pairs of headphones that are whatever, they're nothing. The next things I wanted to show you here, which are the things that actually interest me, were this thing here, which is the multi-USB thing for Rock Band. This wasn't really the main part of the purchase, but it was in there, and that's a good throw-in. Basically, you just plug that into your system. This was with the original Rock Band, I think, because I do remember when I bought Rock Band, this is what came with it. But basically, you plug in your instruments to that. So all the plug-in instruments allow you to plug in 4 instruments. So kind of cool. Always sort of handy if you don't really want to go through the whole battery aspect of wireless kind of stuff, which is kind of nice. This, I don't even know what this is. So jawbone cord, again, I don't know what that is. And then the other thing, which is what interests me the most, and again I have to thank Longshot for bringing my attention to this. This is something that I tried to sell at the Waterloo show. They didn't really sell, but he says they sell really well on eBay. So I'm going to post this one on eBay, assuming that it works. I'll have to test it out. I'm not really sure how to go about doing that because I don't really have the instruments that hook up with this one, but still nonetheless pretty cool. It's a Rock Band wireless dongle, and apparently these, like he said, and I've mentioned it before in my videos, sell pretty decently. So I'm going to be posting that and try to get some cash in the gaming fund like I was mentioning before. The next thing was actually a few games that I picked up when I was at that Value Village. I said there was like a bunch of N64 games sitting there as well. Just basically sports titles, things of that nature. Now somebody else came through and I saw them actually clear a whole bunch of them out as well. They bought them in. But for what they were reasonable deals. It's just for me, I'm not a big N64 fan, so to me it's not really good for like trade fodder or anything like that. But I decided to pick up a couple of titles. The first one here was Extreme G, and I thought it was a pretty good deal. $3 for it. Nothing major. Again, that's just something I'm going to resell. I thought that was a decent deal for that title. Also, I picked up Top Gear Rally. Again, that was $3. And again, you know, I'm really thinking about pruning essentially my N64 collection. I'm not really that interested in it. I'm probably never gonna play it. It's just the graphics are sort of dated in a way that just doesn't interest me, in a sense that, you know, it's where they started going into 3D kind of stuff. And the N64, like, if I want to look at 3D graphics or something like that, I'm going to play it on the PS3 or something like that. I'm not going to go back to the N64 to play it. All the, I think, pretty decent titles for the most part on the N64 have been ported over to like GameCube or something like that, or HD remakes and things like that. So I'm not really that interested in that system anymore. I am going to hold on to a few select titles, but I'm probably going to prune my N64 collection. But also something that was there as well, and this was actually something I think somebody must have picked up and then set down later because it was separate from all the other N64 games. But it was priced the same and has the same stamp and everything on it, so I think it must have came out at the same time. Now, it's not in the world's greatest shape, it's a little beat up. The label's perfect, it's just the cartridge somebody scratched. It's annoying, it's like they dragged it along the ground, but it's Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers, and that one there was also $3. So basically, I'm just going to take those games and probably flip them for some cash. That's the idea behind those. Something I actually want to add to my collection that I picked up, and those will end up funding this and then some, is Teen Titans for the GameCube. And I picked that one up again for $3. Pretty cool. There you go right there. It's totally complete. The manual's just in behind there, but the disc is like perfectly mint. And this is a pretty fun little beat 'em up kind of thing. I think it's fairly simple, but there is a sort of simplistic leveling up system in this game. So, you know, something if you just want to like beat up things or whatever, there you go. I never really got into this. You know, this was came out around like 2006 kind of thing. So, you know, basically like 10 years ago, this game is from. You know, I was in my 20s back then, so I wasn't really interested in Teen Titan versions of things, but still something that might be kind of cool. I do like the art style on it, so I will check it out and see what it's like. If you've played this game, let me know, though. I've just looked up a little bit of gameplay footage to see what people thought of it and what I thought of it, but still cool nonetheless. That one right there. Alright, so the last thing I want to show you here is actually an item that I got through a trade on Kijiji, which is really nice to do for me. I do like to trade versus spending more cash kind of thing. So this is pretty awesome right here. This guy had posted an ad with just a bunch of, really not random I wouldn't say, but a variety of different systems, kind of doubles. I don't know if that's all his doubles or just some things that he was trying to unload or whatever, but really cool guy. I messaged him, I said, you know, what kind of systems and games are you looking for? Because I was interested in one of the titles he had in there. And he came back and said, what do you have in the way of NES, SNES, and N64? And I don't have a whole lot in the way of those things because those things sold really well at the Waterloo Video Game Swap, and basically what he was looking at was the leftovers from that. So, you know, there wasn't a whole lot there that was particularly valuable, but still like some decent quality games in there. So what we did was I showed him a picture of all my NES, Super Nintendo, and a few N64 games that I had left from the show, and he actually picked out a few titles. I think he picked out about 8 titles, which was perfectly fine actually, because they're all like $3-4 titles kind of thing, and it worked out for me totally to get this game right here, which is kind of nice. I'll actually show you in a second. It's just a little bit more story time here. This guy literally lives down the street from me, not too far at all. when I showed up, he's like, hey man, I saw you in a thrift shop the other day. So we crossed each other's paths, just never really spoke obviously before, but he seems like a pretty solid guy, and I think we're going to be making trades in the future kind of thing. So that's really wicked, because you know, it's hard sometimes to find quality people out there doing these things in our areas. I have met tons of quality people, but for every great person there is out there doing these kind of things, there's also a bunch of people that are fairly unsavory, to say the least. So really nice to meet this guy. And again, like I said, super close to my place. So we decided to meet up on a place because he was saying he had to go somewhere, and he basically had to meet me in like the next 20 minutes. And I was like, great, because I got the morning, I can do that. In the afternoon I'm kind of busy. So he sort of swung by the spot, we met up, and I got this off of him, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2. A game I've been looking for. I already have it in my collection actually, but mine's a loose disc. So really nice to pick up this copy of it, because it's something that I really want to have on the shelf, and I already have Battlefront 1 on my shelf, so really nice to actually have this complete. And the best part of this is that it is really complete, which is nice. The disc on it is really, really perfect. I think it's probably better than the one that I have, but I'll be able to actually sell off my loose copy now, which is really nice, and get this on my shelf, which is super sweet. So really looking forward actually to doing more trades with this guy. I told him about the swaps and things like that, sent him links to all those. Also coming up, like I mentioned I think before in this, I am going to be going to the GTA Collectibles Expo. I'm going to set up my vendor table there this time around as well. Got some new items to add into the other things that were sort of left over from the other swap. Lots of decent quality in there as well though. So that's the stuff that I've picked up recently. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Feel free to thumbs up this video, comment down below, and I'll see you all later.